I want to take one more look at coverage from a different perspective. And this is one where I want to kind of show how you can marry the analytics with the traditional scouting in a way that I think is fruitful, right? So when I'm looking at like analytics, I'm looking at, for example, taking something that you're saying, which is what I call like reaction time. Like how good is his instinct? How good are his instincts? And I'm going to try to use the tracking data to kind of measure that. So one thing that myself and my group when I was at PFF, we did was we took the tracking data and looked and said, okay, when a team runs the football, how much ground does the linebacker cover between him and the running back? How much does that shrink in the first 2 seconds of the play? So basically you hand the ball off and how much closer does he get? And that deals with reaction time. So is he messing around with guard, if the guard pulls a different way and they run a counter play on him or something, or, just like, does he follow the eye candy of a reverse fake or a jet sweep fake? All that stuff. Does he close ground on the running back in the first 2 seconds of the play? I'm calling that. And then what I do is adjust that for down and distance. So as you know, like on, let's say 1st and 10, it's much more likely a rundown. So I'm going to expect you to react to a run more quickly than like a 3rd down where they run a surprise run play. I'm going to expect you to react to the run more slowly. So I'm calling that, and that you create an expectation. You call that ground covered over expected. So guys who do that better flow to the run better than guys who don't do that very well. And then I have a different thing because, as you know, Thomas, and this is becoming increasingly popular in the NFL, teams run play action to get linebackers out of position. The middle of the field is the most valuable place in football. That's why we all care about linebackers, because they're covering the most valuable position in football. I'm measuring how much they bite on play action vertically, right? So how much closer are they to the line of scrimmage because a team's running play action? And I adjust that for things like down and distance, right? So if you bite on play action on 1st down, I'm not going to ding you as much as if you bite on play action on 3rd down when it's a passing down, right? And what you would expect, Thomas, is the guys that flow to the run really quickly, they bite on play action more. And guys that bite on play action less, they're not as aggressive against the run. So you would expect this sort of trade-off. And what I found, which is really fun, and I'm going to add this to the stream here, is that there is actually this relationship between how much ground you cover in the run game. So if you're looking here at the x-axis, basically left to right, and how much you bite on play action. So there is a relationship here. Now, what's really cool, Thomas, is you see like characteristics here. Like Zach Cunningham in the lower right-hand part of the screen is a guy that really does flow well against the run, but he does bite a ton on play action. That's why he's in the lower right. If you look at Devin White, Levante David, Bobby Okirike, Darius Leonard, guys like that, they do a really good job of not biting on play action, but they're a little slower to flow against the run. At least in 2021, they were. A guy like Alex Singleton, he doesn't bite that much on play action, but he does flow pretty well to the run. That's actually a pretty good player right there. Now, one of the Patriots' former linebackers, now he didn't play much last year, that did well in this metric every single year. So he didn't bite on play action, but he also flowed really well against the run. And that was Dante Hightower. So, obviously in your tree with Belichick, that was a player who did really well. Does that make sense as something where, Thomas, you're saying something as a trait, and we go out of our way as analytics people to try to measure that using the GPS data?
No, it makes a ton of sense. And you hit the nail on the head. I don't know how many times we would try to get that guy in who was urgent once the snap, the snap of the ball. We wanted them to react right away and go. We called it, we also called it reactionary athleticism, right? But we talked about go hard, see the ball and go, pin your ears back and go, go, go. And yet how many times we got in that situation where we're pulling our hair out because of the Deion Joneses of the world, who we had a great deal of respect for, just to bring him back into it. He would bust on the ball like that, but the play action pass thing would come into play, of course. So yes, there's no question that this is very valid. I love this. This is, although a little bit messy to the eye, not for someone like you, but a little messy to the eye, I think it can be really beneficial to hand over to the decision makers for sure.